I like your dancing. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Threefold Talk. It's Threefold Thursday. Today, we are excited to share that we have two special guests with us tonight. First, in the bottom, not too underneath, sitting under us, it's Hillary. Hillary, why don't you say hi?
Hello. Well, hello there.
How are you today?
I am doing good. I've had 2 cups of coffee so I can stay awake for this.
That's awesome. We love it when people drink caf and stick around way past their bedtime because night raids are the best kinds of raids. Totally. And then over there with Leigh-A, or that way, over there with Leigh-A, I definitely can point in the right direction. Who's your friend?
Our reoccurring guest, Liv. So she's been on a couple of times before. I briefed her up. You finished The Great Hunt now, and has gotten through a couple episodes of season 2. But what is your feedback so far? Why can't you get a little bit further?
1, midterms. 2, I cannot with Rand and Celine. They're so beautiful all the time. I can't do it. I can't. What is happening right now? Why are you doing these things? Stop.
The last time she was on was when the leaked scenes had come out, and there was the one with apparently Celine kissing Rand, and I didn't want to see it, and she did. So that's the last time she was on. So the fact, there's a lot of full circle stuff going on right
now. Listen, how many episodes are you in, Liv? 2?
Question mark.
Probably 2 or 3.
Maybe.
You're so close to the moment where you understand. Fine. And I think you just need to hang on to episode 4.
I am here till Sunday. So guess what we are going to be doing for homework?
Love it.
And I will let her say all the teenage things about the gross kissing scenes. So
that's awesome. But enough about Liv. We're here to talk about musical episodes, right?
Yes, we are.
And how in the pantheon of TV musical episodes, there are a million different ways to skin this cat. And we're here to create for Rafe Judkins and company a primer from which they can then pull resources to make the perfect musical episode.
We are absolutely doing this for the TV creators. We are willing to do the homework for you.
Yeah.
This is a service. Let Donald sing. Let Donald sing.
I feel considering that season 3 is probably already written, This is a season 4 thing. This is like a season 4 teaser. This is something that Rafe could use to like turn to the Prime folk and be like, listen, we've already got a musical episode in the works. You're just gonna have to renew our show.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's
I think that's fair.
it's gonna happen. But before we dive into that, the reason you guys have all come today, we've got to talk a little bit about news, right?
Yes, we do.
We have some really cool news to share. So let's do the Daily Veil.
Brothers and sisters,
It is time to cover up your face.
for the Wheel of Time has news, and we shall dance the spears with it.
This is the Daily Veil.
Okay. I have been really busy, so I don't necessarily I don't think I can necessarily say that I've kept up with the news. However, Leigh-A has.
Sort of.
Well, I remember briefly seeing there was something about season 3 in South Africa. Like they were like a lot of people had like taken the portal stones to South Africa and are like filming the South Africa segment. And there was like some reporting of who was there. But so that's like show news. But I think we're more excited about this other thing that Leigh-A is going to introduce for us.
So our favorite behind the scenes person, Sharon Gillum, has been posting crazy amount of costume content, but we do have a favorite. So we're only going to do one today. We promise we will do a future episode about a lot of the other things, but there is one particular Instagram post that we literally lost our shit over. Literally. So
yeah, there was shit losing for sure.
lots of it.
Yeah,
Lots
But
of
then
oh my god,
just,
they
it
should.
was
blah,
just
blah, blah.
shit and not liquid. So
Nope.
we don't have any toe for
Solid
that.
gold shit.
Just FYI. Hillary, are you a big costumes fan? Are you a show costumes fan?
I do like costumes. Yes, I've done a bit of theater in my life, so I'm a big fan
Nice.
of the tiny little minute details in costumes. Yes.
All right. Well, in case you haven't seen this video is actually from February 4th, but we couldn't not
We've
share
been
it.
busy. We were rating last week and
We're busy. But this is amazing. If you haven't seen it, Sharon Gillum gives us a behind the scenes video about Avienda. And I hope the sound comes in.
Hello, this is another costume from the Wheel of Time season 2. And this is Avienda, one of the Aiel Maidens of the Spear costumes. Her costume has lots of layers. These are people who live in the desert and who travel and move around. They have various layers that keep them warm and are protective in some way. And they have all have a leather holster in which they carry their dagger. Because the thing about the Aiel warriors is that they all carry their weapons with them all the time, and they have quite a lot of weapons.
It needed to be, as you say, simple, practical, but have a bit of sophistication about it, because it's hard to carry 3 spears, a sword, a shield, run and jump,
Thank you.
crossing a desert. So there's not much real estate really on them to put all these things. So we wanted to sort of just have protective, like this bit here, which indicates maybe I don't know, it's just how she operates. It looks practical. It looks like there's a reason why it's like that, but sometimes it's just a design thing. We want it to look really cool. And just the lines cutting across, this sort of angle of belts and straps and things is purposeful.
This has then also been given a really nice breakdown, so you feel like she's lived in it and sweated in it, and It feels really functional, but real and beautiful as well. And this is the back of the leather harness part. And Rob, do you want to just explain what these things are?
We needed 3 spears. It's part of their deal is they carry 3 spears all the time. Now that's not easy, you know. It's getting them to all line in a nice fan. So when you see them, it looks really beautifully mounted. And then we also had to have a shield that was on there, which hung there. So that was kind of another big bit of real estate taken with that.
So the Maidens of the Spear costume and all the Aiel warriors is made up of different pieces, which in the books Robert Jordan calls Cadin Saw. So it's the various elements of their costume or their dress that makes them into an Aiel warrior. One of them is it's like a tunic and trousers. So I've interpreted it as this jumpsuit. They also wear a shufa, which is a kind of head covering or hood. And they also have a veil, a black veil, and that's the 3 elements that are part of their uniform. And then underneath we have a corset that Andy made, most of which you don't see. You certainly don't see it in season 2.
I have used a very easy technique for this. This is a simple plastic bond, and I just cover it and stitch by machine. This is a very important panel. This panel holds these bones panel all around.
It looks like a kind of skeleton,
yes,
like supporting the body. But it also gives them a really nice shape. The girls a really nice shape under the armour. You can see all the different levels of fastenings and closing because some of them are designed to be seen and some of them are designed to keep the costume looking perfect underneath. So there's one of the many skills of the on-set team is understanding and knowing how a costume works and how you take it apart and put it back together. This is what's called button elastic, and the corset is attached to the skirt with this so that everything has a flexibility but was all kept in its place. Finally, this is the underlayer. So this is the jumpsuit layer that is the base of the whole costume. And Andy has a little something to say about that.
When Sharon told me she would like to use a jumpsuit for this character, I thought this is the perfect opportunity to show my science of jumpsuit. And it was be a very strong focus on the panels, which one give me some practical things. I have made a double piece on the shoulder and these loops with layers and some very nice lace, which one we made by a very simple cotton.
And so you can see that even the underlayers have really careful consideration and planning and construction in order to make it functional and look really good. So well done. Thank you.
Rum and rattle for them.
Oh man.
Wow, that was cool.
Am I better? Is my volume better? Is it way too loud now?
You sound fine to me. So we'll have to chat. Let us know if Mel sounds better, please. Thank you.
Or too loud, because sometimes I sound too loud.
Never. We love your voice.
Okay, first of all, they took the leather off and we saw underneath it. But half, first of all, we saw the back, and I was freaking out about seeing the back of Bain's costume. Was it? Or Chiad's costume? Chiad's costume when we looked at it the last night. Now we see the back of Avienda's costume. Like, I figured it kind of looked like that, the way that they had the spear angle things. But it was really cool to see it played out.
It was really
neat. I guess I kind of assumed it was more complicated than that. If you're going to be running around with spears on your back, that it wouldn't just be like kind of a short leather loop, like that you would have to like reinforce it somewhere else so it's not like bouncing around all over. But
I feel like there would be, but yeah, you would definitely need it because that definitely would. Or
Like a spear quiver.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
move. Yeah, their torso doesn't move, so it's very smooth motion when IEL run.
Maybe they're just trained to run, so their torsos don't move at all, and just
Exactly.
Their smooth
It's
legs.
such an IEL thing to do. Yeah.
How are you supposed to run so fast?
Yeah. But another thing that I liked about he talked about how it was aesthetic, but also I feel like it's very practical that you wouldn't want to reach back and then like be like, I got a handful of spears and I only want one right now. So spreading them out actually seems to have practical. So
Spear spreading. Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes sense that they've got the array of them.
Did you guys also catch that moment where she's like, you don't see this much at all in season 2 when she took the leather cover off and then she said the corset? So like, what do you think that means for season 3?
Igloo, baby.
What do you think, Hillary?
I don't know if we'll get if Igloo. But the Aviendha does go to Roydion. So maybe it's at that point when she's getting ready to go to Roydion. Maybe that's what she wears into it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good thought, because I have noticed that the show doesn't necessarily go all in on the unnecessary naked.
Thank goodness.
Stuff. Right. So it would make sense that they might be like, you must remove all of your armor and your weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that. So does that mean that Moiraine can't wear her shoulder pads if she goes?
Probably not.
No shoulder pads.
She doesn't use those as armor, though, and they're not weapons.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I mean, besides stunning us because of how magnificent they are, but
right.
Mean
they're like
yeah.
I mean, she might wear something similar tonight.
Distraction.
Excuse me, tonight.
What if she's wearing her overalls, though?
That's tricky.
I kind of miss the overalls.
I miss the overalls.
I think they'll come back.
I hope so.
I think they'll come back. She was cosplaying as a Kyrian noble most of.
That's true. That's true.
Right? Like she's gonna get back into Mo mode.
We only really saw them in episode 1 when she was talking to both Bail Doman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any other cool takeaways from that video that you want to talk through?
I really like the corset.
It's cool, right?
It looked very stabilizing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, I thought that the lacing came up a little high. It was like slightly weird that it went up that high.
Well, because historically speaking, and I am not a historical expert or anything, but corsets typically were there to cinch the waist and push up the girls. Mm-hmm. But this is different because they want to hold them down and contain them like a really good sports bra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a binder. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I thought it looked cool. I liked that detailing.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll get like a full frontal Aviendha armorless view.
That would be
more intimate moments.
Yeah.
Or anybody else who might have reason.
Well, we're just gonna have
dress.
Hypothetically, we're just gonna have so many more IEL, so there'll be so many other variations of these IEL costumes. One thing that I do love that the costuming team did was they didn't make the 3 maidens cookie cutters out of each other. They all had even though it was a uniform, it was so individually stylized.
Yeah.
And I know there's been theories that there's clan and sept implications in the way that they wear them, and maybe that's how you can identify. Like it does become more of a uniform. Like you are of this clan and this sept, and then eventually, once we get into the male societies, it will identify you by society. So like, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I think it'll be really cool. I mean, they clearly have established that no one cadence award looks like the other. I mean, you've got and they've represented 3 people from 3 different seps, so maybe they're gonna continue that through line, or maybe they're just, for the practicality of different things look better on different bodies, they might do away with that like distinction. But anyway, it's so cool to see how it all. I would not for a million years have pegged that the bottom layer of that was a whole romper. Like,
right?
I was like,
no, it makes sense though.
That's nuts. I mean, can you imagine trying to that seems like, to be frank, very impractical for an IEL on the go who has to then have a go. Because how do you get down to that romper layer without taking everything off? And that seems like a problem if you're going to be a lawyer.
So quick sea story. In the Navy, we have just coveralls, and I was my last job when I was in the Navy was called damage control assistant. So literally having to, like, if there's a fire alarm in the middle of the night, having to get out of bed or whenever I was sleeping, because there's no time in the Navy. Like, it doesn't. But literally, out of whatever I'm wearing, throw on the coveralls real quick and run to damage control central. That's immediately of what I thought of when I saw that jumpsuit. I was like, that is so functional. If they're in the sweat tent or they're chilling in their hold or whatever, they are at least able to put. We saw them fighting naked in the books, but it's an easy way to put something on really quickly. It seemed very practical for combat ready society.
Cool.
So I'm not the only ocean person.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
I'm not the only ocean person here.
That's my IRL life. So my
well, it's both for me.
We've heard a little bit or two about you being an ocean person, and that's a really good segue, actually. Hillary, why don't we get to know you a little bit more?
Oh wait, don't we have a thing for this?
We do have a thing for this. Do you want to play it, Leigh-A?
I don't know.
I have it up. I can push the button.
Do it.
Okay, Hillary, are you ready to fear the spear?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. Okay.
Oh, do you want to go grab us knives?
That is such
You don't have a knife just on you? Leigh-A.
I got the ramen rattle, okay?
For context, like Bain&Chiad and Rob both had a crazy day today, and their rating lasted like an insane amount. So we just tried to make the show happen real quick. And so Leigh-A not having a knife on her, it doesn't actually incur that much tow. Let's be honest, because
but look at what she decided. This is her knife.
This is always my knife. This is my knife.
That's
I'm a little mad
quite
right
a
now.
knife you got, Liv.
I'm a little mad.
That's good. Okay, but this isn't about our knives. This is about you, Hillary. Are you ready to face the fearing of the spearing?
Yes.
Okay, so the first question you have to answer is, what is your name, society, and clan?
Okay. I am Hillary. And I'm trying to remember how societies and clans work. It's been a long time.
Society is like your job, and clan is like where you live.
Okay. I am Hillary of the Science Educators. from Snowy New England. I don't know.
Snow.
What is
Yeah,
that
it's snowing
frozen
right now,
water stuff,
actually.
right?
Yeah.
What is the snow stuff of which you talk?
Mhm.
All right, science educator from snowy New England. We're gonna spin this spinny wheel of fate and figure out what your next question, which Leigh-A will ask you.
I like this music.
Oh yeah,
I forgot we had music until I was
I
scrolling through
forgot we
things.
had music too.
Consummate professionals.
Yeah, we're good at this. Question 13.
Lucky number 13.
This is the best question.
Oh, this is the best question. Hillary, Trollocs, hot or not?
Sorry, Kevin. They're not.
Oh,
Shade.
my goodness. Okay.
But no shame if you find them. So.
Okay. But you're not judging, is what you're
No,
saying.
I will not judge.
All right. Liv, you're asking this next question. Question 7.
No, you're asking.
Okay. What's in your cat and source pocket?
Keys. I have keys in my pockets constantly. Keys to my lab.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
So you protect that lab with secret keys?
Oh, I grow bacteria in there, so I can I can make you sick.
Okay.
Kevin!
I mean, I wasn't gonna say it. I'm glad somebody else said it, but that's okay. But wait, I'm intrigued by the bacteria growing that will kill you. Elaborate.
So I'm a lab tech, and this semester I do prep for a lot of science labs, biology in specific. This semester it's microbiology, so I grow a lot of bacteria for students to look at under microscopes and do tests with and stuff. And I have some very fun ones, some very pathogenic ones that I grow to be very careful with.
Is it an appropriate question to ask you what's your favorite bacteria? Is that?
Ooh, that is a good question, actually. Ooh, that is fun. There are so many fun ones to just say. There's Serratia marcescens, Staphylococcus epidermis, Staphylococcus aureus, which is a very pathogenic one. But it's fun.
I've seen coccus a lot.
Yes, it's a scientific term, so that means that's the shape of the bacterium. It means it's a sphere.
I'm not doing
A
bio AP
sphere.
right now.
Yes, it's a
Okay.
sphere.
Okay.
And there are other bacterias like Bacillus subtilis, which is a rod shape. Bacillus is the name of the shape. They look like a little pill under
Like
a
a
microscope.
jagged little pill?
Maybe.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're fun
Nice. I could derail this entire but let's move on. All right.
Oh no, my unlucky number.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, what notable person would you take Guy Shine?
A notable person that I would take Guy Shine.
Doesn't have to be Wheel of Time. It can be, but
Anyone. Yeah.
I know, but I just don't. I don't know if I would. I'm a very independent person who needs to do things for herself, kind of
Okay.
thing. So I don't think I could take a Guy
So
Shine.
what if you were taking a Guy Shine and then loaning them to like the wise one?
We've also had people take people Guy Shine because of their like knowledge and skills so that you could learn from them.
Oh, like a lab assistant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody to help.
Lab assistant.
So
Um,
like I don't know, like Marie Curie or something like that. Like, would any
Well, chemistry is not my forte. It's not my thing. But there is a marine science person. Her name is Dr. Ayana Elizabeth. Oh, I just blanked. Oh gosh, I just blanked on her name.
That's okay. You can tell us later. Ayana Elizabeth.
Presley,
What's
I think. She's a marine science person. She does a lot of work in like the political realm, and making policies and helping around with those. And I think it would be fun to just sit down and kind of like work with her for a while. That would be really fun. So maybe her.
Awesome.
Nice.
Love it. Okay, should we do 2 more?
Sure.
Johnson. Ayana Elizabeth Johnson.
Johnson.
I was way off.
My favorite
Margaritas.
question, what is your usquai of choice?
Margaritas.
Nice.
Yes!
That was really fast. I love it.
You
Yeah.
come to the right place.
I love a good margarita.
I'm pretty sure that's what I'm drinking. I don't know. It's in this cup. It's margarita-ish. Okay, Liv, this one's yours.
You don't have to answer.
You guys,
Question 2.
who would you fan
Okay.
cast to portray your character on the Wheel of Time show?
Yeah,
My character.
the Ocean Ogier.
Ocean
Oh,
Ogier.
yeah.
The
Do
ocean.
we want to maybe do another one because you're not really a well thought?
Could we just do my favorite character?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So my favorite character is Cerelia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And I would want Dame Maggie Smith.
Love it.
Yes, that's who I think also.
Love it.
Honestly,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
he is my
Should be
head
great.
canon for Soralea. Absolutely.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, last one. Leigh-A, read this one.
No, it's you. I already did one.
Okay, so I'll read it. Okay, if you can only pick one, what Wheel of Time character would you take with you to guard your back on a raid on another clan's hold?
Well, obviously Avienda.
Obviously.
Obviously, yes. She has both Maiden of the Spear abilities and Wise One abilities, and with the power, so it's a logical choice that I would take Avienda.
Yep.
I mean, she is pretty awesome. I don't think you can go wrong with that choice. And so therefore, I would postulate, because she has said Avienda at the appropriate time, that makes up for her earlier faux pas of saying the Trollocs are not hot. So I think we've evened out. And
Kevin's the only one that's really mad about that, so it's okay. We do have 3 more
Mad about it.
questions, more for you than the general ones. So, Mel, do you want to do this first one?
Yes. Why are you interested in the
Ocean?
Yes. Ocean.
Ocean, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wish I knew I was getting this question, because I have a book that I got at a Scholastic book fair when I was 7, and I have it in my office at work. But it is written as like a journal of someone who went on a research trip out on a ship for a few weeks, and just kind of wrote about all the things that they saw in the oceans, and it became my big obsession when I was 7, and I told my grandparents that I wanted to go on a whale watch, so they planned this whole trip out to Maine. I'm from Ohio, which is landlocked, well, almost landlocked, and it's very far. So they had an RV. We took the RV out to Maine, and we went on a whale watch, and we made a whole vacation out of it. It was very fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
You fell in love.
amazing. What cool grandparents you have.
Yes, my grandparents were phenomenal.
Okay, so what was it like? Was there one thing on that trip that like sticks out to you as like, this is it, this is why I'm obsessed? Or was it just the whole trip?
I mean, it was the book. The book got me obsessed. At the very end, they talked about how they saw this blue whale and her calf, and how rare that sighting was, and not a lot is known about them, but they're kind of endangered and stuff like that. And I just read that and I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do. I'm still not doing it, but it's okay.
You're working towards it by
Trying.
being a whale advocate.
Yes, I'm a whale-vicate.
All right, and that leads excellently into the next question. Would you like to read this one?
What's the most underrated fact about whales?
Whew. Did you know that humpback whales change their songs every year?
Every year?
Yes. So male humpback whales sing a song, and every male sings the same song every year. And one little part of that song gets changed every year. And everyone does it. And we don't know how they decide this or anything like that. But it happens, and it's the same across the entire population of the area. And did you also know that bowhead whales improvise? Yes, so they are Arctic whales. Bowhead. Bowhead, yes. Their mouth is very arched, so it looks like a bow, like that.
Oh, like that.
Yes.
I know what those are.
They improvise their songs, so they're like the jazz singers of the ocean.
I love that you chose whale facts that are applicable to this episode.
Look at you. Hillary is like, just like hitting those transitions out of the park, left and right. Thank you so much for fearing the spear with us.
Call me the stem whale.
One more.
A little bit more about you.
Why would an animal want to live in the water?
In
all that water. I did not read the sentence beforehand, and dyslexia not helping.
There's more space. There's more space there.
Space for drowning.
Water is for drinking.
Well, they don't want to drink the salt water, but they have specialized organs to help with that. But I cannot digress anymore.
Are there any more ocean questions in here?
We are done.
I would like to say this is fascinating and terrifying at the same time. And I would also like to say I would like to know about ocean bacteria. If you can twain those two together, I would like information.
I don't know if I could do bacteria, but I could do some microorganisms, which is kind of similar.
Cool.
So there are these things called phytoplankton, which are plant-like protists. They're microscopic. You can't really see them. It's a specific type called a diatom. And if you like the air that you breathe, the nice oxygen, you should thank a diatom because they produce most of it.
What?
Yeah. So the Amazon rainforest, it gets called the lungs of the earth because they produce about 20% of the Earth's oxygen. Mm-hmm. But phytoplankton in the oceans, and in particular diatoms, are really good at it. They produce about half.
So is this why we need to be very concerned about the ocean warming up?
Yes. There's lots of reasons we should be concerned about it.
Interesting. You're not sure we should just avoid the ocean altogether and
you can
leave
if
it
you
to
want
the crazies? Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't call me crazy. But
I meant the animals that like to be in it.
Well, they can't really live anywhere else. So
that's weird. Okay.
Yeah. Fish would not do well.
Okay. All right. Well, now that I'm fully disturbed, maybe we should talk about musicals.
Do we need a cleanser first?
Oh,
sort of cleanser.
What kind of cleanser were you thinking of?
I think a nice rock would be good.
Nice rock. Do you like rocks? Are you into rocks as much as you like?
Yes, geology rocks.
Cool. Here's a rock.
Butt rock.
No, Liz, close your eyes. Look at it.
I had a feeling it was coming.
Wait, what?
my god.
I don't think we have it, and I don't think we got enough of it.
Butt rock.
I love that you have Matt Hatch's voiceover too. Oh, that's so funny.
It's good stuff. That's a real rock in a real place that both the roof mistress and I have been to.
We've been to there.
Speaking of geology. But speaking of rock, what's your favorite rock musical?
Rock musical?
Yeah.
Rock musical. Like a musical about rocks or like rock and roll musical?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, I haven't seen a lot of rock focused one, like rock and roll. But I guess I would say Rock of Ages, because I don't think Mamma Mia would count as rock.
No.
Not really.
Except it's on an island, which is a rock.
True. Complicated.
But I guess
There's
Rock
a
of
lot of
Ages, which
water
I
in
haven't
that
actually seen. Wait, no, I'm silly. Six. Six the musical. Rock? Oh yes, each queen has a rock anthem. Like, come on.
Well, I thought it was more pop than rock.
It's pop rock.
I'm with you. I would give Six.
Okay.
Six the rockness.
Each queen is modeled, and their music is modeled after.
I love the soundtrack. When Mel was visiting me the other week, I basically played the soundtrack.
I saw it on tour.
Oh,
that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So jealous. Liv has a question about would this musical be considered a movie? Well, ask.
Rocky Horror Picture Show, mostly.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Very glam. Very glam rock for sure. I feel like that totally counts.
Yeah, I would.
And
agree.
there's always like really fun stuff at live showings of the movie, and then there, live performances of the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go wrong with Rocky Horror. That was actually. I saw that movie when I was 13. At a sleepover at my friend's house, and I was totally like scandalized. I was like, "Are we allowed to even watch this movie? Like, what is happening?" And it changed my whole life. I gotta say, it's pretty fantastic. But we're not here to talk about musicals. We're here to talk about a very specific subgenre of musicals, and that is the TV musical episodes. Would anyone like to talk about one?
Yeah, let me kick it off, because for those of you who seen us once or twice know that I do a little bit of research when we're going into topics, just a wee little bit. And I also appreciate that Hillary also, when we were doing the pre-show, it was like apologizing that I was about to get super nerdy. She showed me her notebook of like notes she had taken, and I was like, yes, you will. This is right, but she is in the right place. Anyway, so in this whole topic of like, we want a Wheel of Time musical episodes. Let's try to do the research for the production team so they don't have to. I was like, let's go a step further and go back to, where did these come from? When did these start? There's been many musical episodes, but the first one that was attributed was an I Love Lucy episode. And I'm actually going to turn this over to Mel, because when Mel was visiting me, she gave me something that I didn't know about how Lucille Ball has done a lot of creative things with it, changed the face of, in many ways, of how TV was done. So Mel, tell us about Lucille Ball.
So Lucy did her own version of a musical episode during her I Love Lucy show, but she also was like incredibly influential in the world of TV in general. She was an amazing businesswoman, and she kind of like worked on figuring out ways to make the TV industry work for the performers as well. So she kind of was like one of those big advocates for syndication and that sort of stuff. And so when I was visiting Leigh-A in DC, we went to go visit the original model that was used in Star Trek to film the opening sequence, the Star Trek Enterprise. And I told Leigh-A about how Lucille Ball was like instrumental in making Star Trek a syndicated show, and therefore making it the like cult following, giving it the cult following that it had, because she was a big advocate for doing this, and she pushed this concept out into the world, even though people were like a little bit not sure that this kind of weird like sci-fi show would have any sort of following. And it was really through her efforts that it actually like spread all across the universe like it did. She's pretty fantastic lady.
And you can see in the musical episode in I Love Lucy called The Operetta, even though it doesn't follow it doesn't follow a lot of the formats that the future people started doing. It is Lucy's women's group is putting on an operetta, but then they keep singing in real life because Lucy's doing Lucy things and has bungled the whole process. But I think as Lucy, I can imagine that as Lucille Ball was conceptualizing this episode, she knows that her co-stars have these amazing voices and really wants to showcase them. And Ethel is just like doing these operatic aoras and just, wait, is that what it's called? Arias. Yeah.
Are you talking about nipples? Is that what's happening right now?
I mean, I always love talking about nipples, but that's not what I'm talking about this time. Arias.
Sorry, Liv. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
Arias. So, I sound more like Lucy than Ethel. But yeah, you can totally see that she really wanted to highlight this other aspect of her co-stars and created an episode just for them to do this. But still stuck with the medium, and it's a very enjoyable episode. It's on I think it's on I can't remember where I saw it. It is on I Love Lucy is on one. Oh no, it's Paramount Plus. It is on it's on Paramount Plus, so if you have that, you can watch
conveniently also with Star Trek.
Conveniently also with Star Trek. You can go watch all those episodes, but the operetta was a very fun episode, and again, the earliest one. From there, it took a while to get to the next episode that was a musical episode within a TV show, and that is Buffy. And this is where they took things.
Wait. Hold up. You're saying between I Love Lucy and like
there were other ones.
Buffy, there was nothing?
No, there was a Love Boat one. There was a couple. I think Gilligan's Island had ones, but till we get to really notable ones.
Laboratory had one.
Yes, and so they started playing with the concept. I say Buffy because that's the next one I watched. Timeline. But then they started.
I'm saying Buffy's number one.
Buffy is number one.
No.
They started coming into Xena was before Buffy actually. So
Xena would have had to be.
Xena was before Buffy. Anyways, they started something because I've watched a lot of these over the past couple of days. So I've got how I've started bucketizing the causes and the reasons for the musical.
Okay, tell us briefly.
So I found three main ones, and I'd love if we could dive, because I think this will be applicable to how we're proposing to Rafe and the team how they introduce the musical episode. So one is it's a dream sequence.
That's easy.
Somebody goes unconscious. So Scrubs, Grey's Anatomy, those were just people in an unconscious state dreaming that people were singing to them or singing in general. 2, a cursed item or thing that is influencing the world around it. So that is the Strange New World has the Rift. There's another one that I'm forgetting. And then the third major cause is some sort of trickster or evil deity or a god-like entity imposing their will on the people around them, which is one of the most common ones. So Lucifer, Buffy, Xena, those were that the team had to figure out how to defeat the enemy or get past their trickster-ishness.
Okay, so we've got trickster gods, we've got
item,
sort of item, and we've got some sort of dream or some sort of brain abnormality. All of those options,
which could work.
All of which can work and fit into the Wheel of Timeness of all of this. Okay, so if we were going to pull out, thank you, Leigh-A, for that. Hillary, if you were going to pull out an episode, a TV episode that you think could influence a Wheel of Time, future Wheel of Time TV episode, what one would you like to start with?
Could influence it? Hold on. I gotta find them all again.
By the way, Hillary has notes.
I have lots of notes.
And if you guys listen very closely to the very end, we've actually been able to procure just a sample of what's in the works for the future Wheel of Time episodes. You guys will just have to wait till the end to see that because it's pretty fantastic, and we've been given exclusive access.
We got it
to a musical number from the Wheel of Time.
Well, I mean, if you want to, since I know y'all love it, and I loved it too. It's just not my favorite. We could talk about Buffy.
We could talk about Once More with Feeling.
We can.
I mean, I could talk about Once More with Feeling for the entire rest of the episode because it's phenomenal. The best one.
It is. I'm not disputing that it is not top tier.
Okay.
I do not dispute that at all.
Okay. That episode has songs that include conversation about mustard. It also has...
They got the mustard out!
People with irrational fears, which I don't know if you know the Aiel, but we have some irrational fears.
I also have
Ours happen to be water, but some people in that episode happen to be bunnies. You know, I mean, all of those things lend it to being the most iconic musical episode ever. So this is a situation where the impetus for the musical episode is a trickster god, right? And so this could very clearly be something that Asmodean imparts on people. It could also be something that like Grendel does in her Grendel-y way. You know, she could make that happen.
Or because especially in the middle books, there's this cohort of Forsaken. It could be all of them putting their fingers in the various parts of the world.
Yeah. Or it could be them caught in a bubble of evil. Like all of the stuff that happens in Buffy, it's like people are trying to figure out.
Would a bubble of evil be more of a dream world than a trickster god?
I don't think so, because in a bubble of evil, you're conscious that something's not right.
True.
But a dream world might put you in a state where you're accepting of the new reality that's being presented to you. So it's like a subtle
the thing is that the bubble of evil is not being controlled by the trickster god. It just kind of happens. So I also think that might be more dream world sequence than trickster god. But that could work in the Wheel of Time.
But I think the show could do something different with it, right? Like,
Yeah.
what if there was a terangrial that the Chosen had access to, that they then could manipulate into influencing maybe us? Maybe it would have to have some sort of limitation on it. Maybe a regional area, maybe a village.
It'd be like the dream spike where they just
like
move
the
it
dream
around,
spike, like it could
move it around.
only influence.
Then you're combining Dream World and Cursed Item and Trickster Gods.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Damn!
Yeah.
I think like it'll never happen because he's definitely already been casted. He's in season 3. I'm positive about it. I have no evidence, but I'm sure. It would be a really fun way to just introduce Asmodean and his whole deal, to like have him show up in the background of a scene somewhere, and then the music just starts, and it just he'll just pop up in every like location because he can travel and stuff. So that also introduces that concept to us. and then at the end we just get the reveal of like he's Asmodean and music is his thing.
And we have historical context because we have Pat and Fane's whistling theme, so we've seen that play out, and now like it's further developed into something that's good.
I just think that would be fun.
Okay, so what plot line in any of the Wheel of Time books, sorry Liv, any of the books do you think fits best in this kind of like Buffy musical type episode?
What plot line? There are so many good ones for this. And I have to caveat this with it's been about a decade since I've read the whole series. So I might not remember everything.
Totally good.
I do like having Rand and Egwene in the IU, in the Threefold Land, excuse me. With them going into, maybe some of them going into Roydion a little bit. I would love a training song, a fast-paced training song with the Wise Ones and Egwene. I would love that
for sure.
Yes, that would be fun. Oh my gosh,
concept,
a White Tower song with the novices and accepted, and like it's a Hard Knock lifestyle.
Oh yeah, and everyone's sweeping with brooms.
Yes. The Ogier would have the really beautiful ballad like Sunrise Sunset. They would have that for sure. Andor would have something more choral, like classic choral-y, like Hallelujah chorus kind of thing. These are not plot lines in the story. These are just people and locations. Oh, the sea folk should have a sea shanty.
I mean,
obviously.
It's a little on the nose, but I'll go with it. Yeah.
Hey, I'm not here for subtlety.
I mean, it's a musical episode. Nothing is subtle.
Exactly.
There are lots of great things. Matt, oh gosh.
Let Donald sing.
Let Donald sing. It has to be a Matt plotline. Any of the musical episodes have to be some sort of Matt relevant plotline. So I would argue that I feel like, to take us all the way to the end, like I feel like the Finn, the rescue at the Tower of Genji. I'm not gonna go too far, Liv. That's all I'm gonna say.
She's not gonna. Are you gonna?
I feel like that plot line would lend itself really well to.
We're saying a lot of words that don't mean anything to her right now, so
that's okay. Yeah. It's okay. But I like if we could, something that centers Matt and then has like interesting characters on the side. Like, can you just imagine like the opening number is they're all at the camp, and then Oliver is just playing his game, and they're all singing about, the life of being in an army, and Oliver just keeps rolling the dice, and then the very end of that opening number is, I won. And then
oh, that's so cute.
And then that changes everything, right?
Mm-hmm. That would be good. The only group who is not allowed to sing is the Tuathan. Because they haven't found the song yet.
Clearly not. Clearly not.
They just do like the drums and the wild dancing like they did in season 1. Yeah.
Drum circle.
Yeah.
But
Drum
it
circle,
is
yeah, drum
really
circle.
unfortunate because what's her name? The
Maria
actress
Doyle
who-
Kennedy.
Yes, thank you. Maria Doyle Kennedy is an amazing singer. So they cast this amazing singer to play a character in a group that is looking for a song all the time and never finds it. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, so I would advocate that at the Tower of Genji, at the very last Tower of Genji, would be the plot line to pair with a Buffy the musical. What do you think, Leigh-A?
The major elements I would want to take from the Buffy episode is they really leaned hard into the ability of the dancers and then hired an excellent choreographer. So
Yes.
all of the dance numbers were phenomenal. And once I watched,
They were okay.
compared to a lot of the other dance numbers, like,
Sure.
and it actually became for dancing the thing that because I'd watched a couple of episodes before that and was like, oh, like the Strange New Worlds. I was like, oh, that waltz one was like,
Yeah.
they're trying so hard. They're just, but the characters it fit with the characters.
It worked. Yeah.
Anyways, but the actual actors in Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar's younger sister Dawn is a classically trained ballerina, and they gave her this beautiful dance number.
Beautiful. It was gorgeous.
It's incredible. And like, but all of them, like, and again, it was a combination of choreography, knowing the actor's limitations, and which I think a lot of other shows like kind of maybe pushed things that may or may not have worked. But that's what I think one thing that Buffy did really well was the dancing. And I think that is a piece, regardless of what storyline they pull in, that I would really love to, if and when Wheel of Time does their musical episode, I would love to see that thought and consideration, because we've seen all the thought and consideration that the Wheel of Time production group puts into these things. So yes, hire that choreographer, and that is going to work with the actors as they have. Like we hear this from the stunt team and like in the sign language team, like they are integrating. Right. So I would expect the same level.
Yeah, and if we somehow figure out how to make Magdalena Sitova, featured more in the show, then we are already obsessed with her. She's also a trained dancer. She's not just a stunt person, she's also a trained dancer. So getting more of her in would be fantastic. Ooh,
you just had an idea and I want to hear.
I'm just saying, like, if we wanted to grain it up, we could make a whole Guitarra telling Tigraine the prophecies, and then into the waste, and then her into Shail, and that whole through line could be an amazing musical number, right? Because all we had was like Amisa's like brief story.
Maybe Tom writes it.
Ooh, like the Ballad of Tigraine Shail.
Yeah.
Oh, but actually, Hillary, this goes into your Viridian. So as Amisa's telling the story, it's Shail dancing, and I'm sure Alexander can dance, and it's Tam in there. But you know what? I'm sure
Michael McKeaton.
Yes, thank you. I'm sure he would just be super awkward about the whole thing, which is perfect because that's what
so fun.
I mean, it's just like in Buffy. What's his face is like a terrible singer and a terrible dancer, but they just he just owns it, and he so genuinely is trying, because I think one of the things.
Wait, which guy?
The professor?
Not the professor.
The boyfriend.
Xander. Terrible singer, terrible dancer.
Wasn't that bad?
I thought he did fine.
He was good. He sings at the level I sing, but he was not Pierce Brosnan in Mamma Mia.
Or what's his face?
I think Pierce was that bad.
In Les Mis. What's his face?
Which one?
Kurt Russell.
No, not Russell Crowe. Thank you.
Russell Crowe. The other
Crowe,
Russell.
Thank you for triggering me. Russell Crowe, Les Mis, Pierce Brosnan in Mamma Mia. I think the key there when you have actors who are not like natural singers is how much they're willing to own it and how much they're willing to just like own their abilities and put their best effort in. Because if they're willing to like try, I feel like that. Just like Xander in Buffy, that overcomes like their lack of skill as long as they're committed. And actors are very good at like committing to their parts, and I feel like we could overcome that with any of the actors. Like I don't know if Michael McKeaton can sing, but I'm just saying like I think we can overcome that.
And
with
not just
anyone.
that, Mel, but it's the person
And clearly
who,
Osha has no sense of rhythm. So
it's the person who is composing the songs and understanding the capability of the actors, and especially if they're writing songs, don't do something crazy. So I think Mamma Mia and Les Mis are kind of bad examples because they had to sing to a song that was not written for them. If Wheel of Time is composing songs for the actors, they can compose songs that complement the actors' abilities. Same as what I was saying with the choreography. So they're not the people who are doing the hard work of making the actor look good. And that's really what it comes down to. It's like, let's make the actor look good and make the show look good and make it palatable to the watcher. Yes, because I think that's where a lot of the shows and episodes that people criticize, the musical episodes, it's just like it was so cringeworthy because they pushed somebody to do something that was not good.
Yeah, I feel like the good musical episodes all have original music and they don't go the jukebox route. I love a good jukebox musical. I love Mamma Mia dearly, but they need a theme to tie in the music for me, and that you don't get that in a TV episode.
Well, that's a good commentary to lead us to like the Grey's Anatomy musical episode, because it was very much like they were pigeonholing music to try and communicate a theme that they were trying to get across, but it didn't always fit well. But I know that a lot of people really like that musical, and some of our commenters like brought that up as an option when we posed this question to
Grey's Anatomy is very memorable because it's one of, and I think it's a good analogy for what we could potentially look at for Wheel of Time, because it was a very serious show. A lot of the other shows that I think it's actually might be unique within this musical episode category as well, Star Trek, but
it was tackling a very serious topic, a very serious
topic, but also Grey's Anatomy in general. It's not usually super lighthearted. It doesn't have it's not a comedy where you can stretch a little bit. It's definitely not fantasy. So it was a dream world episode where one of the characters was in a car accident. Actually, Shonda Rhimes, the show creator, fought for 2 to 3 years. I looked this up and I'm just not going to go back. She fought for several years to get this. The person who was in the dream world, the actress Sarah Ramirez, was a Tony Award winner. And her vocal.
I got that. Whoo!
Right?
She was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
everyone else was not.
Everyone else was fine. Well, actually,
they were
Bailey,
committed.
The actress who played Bailey was also very good.
I honestly could not tell you who that is. That was the only episode of Grey's Anatomy I've ever watched.
The short black lady.
Yes. Okay. I got you.
And
yes,
I felt like what's his name? The redhead.
The guy who's in
the
Rome.
Emergency.
Also. Yeah, he's in Rome. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy from Rome.
Yeah.
That's how I knew, like, when he showed up in Grey's Anatomy, when I was watching Grey's Anatomy. I haven't watched him in a very, very long time, but I was like, it's the guy from Rome.
Yeah.
Because Rome
But
is me.
actually, the reason I remember
I thought he was good.
that episode specifically is the trio that they do. That is, and the reason we brought up Mel brought up Grey's Anatomy was because they took songs that exist. It's a jukebox, so they didn't write original. But I think I loved that mashup of, I can't remember what song it was, but every time the song that they did the trio of, it's sung, the original one is by one person. And every time I hear that song, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I listened more to the Grey's Anatomy version so I can harmonize to it, because it's just beautifully done. And like it always stands out. Every time I hear that song, I think of it. But overall, the execution was just like not well done. So.
I thought the opening number, the being juxtaposed with the chaos of the hospital was great. I liked it in the opening number, but then they kept doing it, and it took away from that. And then what was with the happy song in the middle of it? It made no sense. They just needed to show everybody kissing.
Well, you know.
Wait.
Sometimes you need to.
They're in a flying car. And then they start singing a happy song.
No, I was confusing it with the there's a later episode where somebody proposes via flash mob. And I was like, okay, no, different episode.
That's
different episode.
So so there's clearly things we like. There's clearly things that we struggle with the Grey's Anatomy episode. But is there a Wheel of Time plotline that would fit well with like the way that Grey's Anatomy episode was composed? Like, is there like a injury plotline where
I don't know
that you or some sort of like mental in your head,
a bubble of evil type thing? Maybe the Battle of the Two Rivers. But I don't know if that. Also, I don't like that because I don't like reducing the Battle of the Two Rivers to a musical episode.
Yeah. That's a little too serious for that, I think.
It's tricky, right? Because it's a very serious topic. So you need something with weight to it. You need you don't need like a Matt-led plot, right?
So
like
when. And this does not include Matt at all, but when Rand goes to the Mirkwoods, or whatever it's called, Mirkwoods is Lord of the Rings, but to shush, stop judging me. To talk, he travels with men to the Mirkwoods, whatever it's actually called in the Wheel of Time, to talk to
Mirkwoods.
Shush.
I know what you're talking about, but I just want you to keep
going. And Kyrian rebel factions, and then Paddon Fane's Mist all comes in, and there's a whole bunch. I feel like that would be a fun.
Yeah, and he gets stabbed, and then he's injured,
but it's also very serious. Rand's wounded, and other people are wounded.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's what I was kind of lending towards, like Rand getting wounded and everybody trying to deal with that, and what if he dies and all of that stuff. What do you think, Hillary?
Yeah, that could work. I think that could work, yeah.
I could also see that kind of episode. Unfortunately, we already had that, but it would work really well with like Matt and the dagger too. Like that kind of that whole through line of like trying to figure out what was wrong with Matt. Would have worked well with that kind of
if
framing.
Rand needs a duet with Luz Theron. Sorry, I just thought of that. That would be so fun.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
So Mel, do you have a episode that you liked, that you think would be a good or bad example?
I've got a bad
let's
example.
not do this.
Let's not do The Nightman Cometh.
Okay, tell us why.
First of all,
which one's that?
That's It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Can you describe what happens in that? I haven't seen it.
Okay, so I don't know all of their names. So Charlie Day, who's the actor's name, I don't know his character's name. He writes a musical, right? And he gets all of his friends to put it on, and it's bad. And I know the humor
in the context of the show, it's bad, or in your opinion, it's bad.
The music itself, the music part is fine. Mm-hmm. Everything is cringe. It's intentional cringe, and that is not my brand of humor. Mm-hmm. But I also what I don't like in a musical episode is when the episode is about them putting on a musical and all of the music is at the end. I don't like that. I don't consider that a musical episode.
So High School Musical, the series, not a musical?
Well, are the songs interspersed throughout the show? Because sometimes. If they are, like a good example is if you watch the Psych one, the Psych movie, because like it's about a musical that's being put on, but the music in the episode is interspersed and not really involved with the musical itself. I consider that a musical episode. But when the episode is about a musical that they are showing on stage, and that's the only music in the show, it's not a musical episode to me.
There's a musical within the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That doesn't make
a musical I don't
episode.
Want to do that. I don't want Val and Luca to put on a musical kind of thing and have all of the music in that. I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. But how do we then figure out, how do we give Tom more opportunities to sing to us?
Well, and this is what we discussed last week, was just like, let Alexander sing. So he should just be like in the background, like strumming, humming. Yeah. Same thing with Donald. Like, let Donald just hum or like randomly sing when other people are talking.
Yeah.
Let him sing.
Yeah. Okay, so we're saying no Psych musical style musicals.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't have the show put on a musical. Actually, which is very interesting because in the books, Tom does actually, he gets really mad I think it's actually in The Great Hunt, where he's like, yeah, these people are getting on stage and pretending to do the stories. So plays are not a concept yet in the Wheel of Time. So
if he sees them as bass, he doesn't see them as high chant.
Rafe, take note of that fact. Like, plays don't exist, and the evolution of plays are, well, actually, it's another opera, but like, yeah, that shit doesn't happen yet.
Well, okay, so you do kind of have like the way that they've presented Tom so far. He is definitely
grunge,
but he's still storytelling in his songs. He's not singing songs that are analogies, or he's like telling a very clear plot line through a song. So that's interesting. Okay, I would like to put this out there for all of you. For those of you who have seen the Scrubs musical, Leia's mentioned it a little bit.
That's my favorite. That's my number one.
That's Hillary's number one.
Yeah.
The kind of like the plot line is there's a woman who has like a brain aneurysm, and it's causing her, anytime that she interacts with anyone or sees anyone else interact, they are all singing. So in the story, nobody thinks they're singing, but she thinks everyone is singing, and it's told from her perspective. So you then see all of these musical songs, and there are songs about poo, which pretty
Everything
fantastic.
down
Like
to-
second to songs about mustard. I feel like songs about poo, pretty worthy.
And Guy
But
Love. You can't forget Guy Love.
I mean, Guy Love's a classic. So Guy Love is your classic ballad about how being in a bromance with another dude is not gay at all. I mean, that's what Guy Love's about. And I pretty much sing Guy Love to my husband, like anytime he talks about his best friends. He has 3 best friends, and they're like thick as thieves.
Yeah.
And I just like sing Guy Love to them anytime. Anyway, segue. What I would like to propose, even though this isn't about someone with some sort of mental issue, is that the Scrubs musical format would work really, really well as Matt forming the band can't get away from the army, can't escape from his fate episode. So the idea being that Matt's fate is a musical and he therefore is trying to like flee his like the musical land and just keeps getting like redirected back into like forming the band and leading the band and ultimately killing Couladin. Like I feel like those two paired together for me is a opportunity for Donal Finn to be centered yet again, because I don't know if you know this, I'm advocating for Donal Finn to sing as much as possible in this musical episode, so it's got to be Matt centric.
Please and thank you.
And it's slightly ridiculous. Like it's a ridiculous plot line. Like he keeps getting into these like utterly incomprehensible situations. And then ultimately, you know, it comes to a really great climactic ending, as any musical should. So
he meets Talmanes.
And he meets Talmanes.
In that episode as well, and they have to sing a duet.
And it's the beginning of the bromance. It's the beginning of the bromance.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Sally has already written that whole thing, so we're good. If you guys haven't seen Sally O'Neill's
yes,
parody from this year,
yes, parody.
Amazing.
Oh man, I wish we had that right now, but yes, that was a
somebody find it.
It was the parody contest. Yeah.
Somebody will find it.
Yeah,
anyway,
somebody post the link in chat, please.
Anyway, but more plot lines that you think might work with that Scrubs type episode. Like,
yeah,
it's got to have an element of like ridiculousness to it.
Yeah,
right?
I think Osmo just popping into a scene and then everyone suddenly starts singing and then he pops out and everyone just goes back to normal. like they don't even know. And I think that would be so fun.
I think an episode where just a whole bunch of, we talked about bubbles of evil earlier, where it's just like that is just popping up and people just start dancing and then they're like, bubble of evil. And they all like, for some reason, the Dark One is just popping up these bubbles of evil of musical talent. That'd
be fun.
Yeah, just, and actually probably in some of what we would consider maybe some of the more boring storylines, with the people call them like the Elaine taking the throne and Egwene marching, Perrin trying to find Fael. Those are people's personal slogs. So, and that might be an interesting place to put a musical where you make the topics that might not be palatable to the general community more palatable because it's a musical now.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. That could backfire.
Oh, yeah. It'd have to be really well done, obviously.
Yeah. So Remy Park's got to write it.
Luckily, that's like 2 to 3 seasons from now, so there's lots of time to plan for it.
It is in season 4. Season 4, because the musical number is what's going to clinch season 4 renewal, that it's part of it. I'm just saying.
You want it to be the season 4 finale.
I don't think it should be the finale, because
I agree.
It needs to be like
It needs to be episode 1 because they would still be hypothetically filming season 5, and then the Amazon would be like, yeah, no, we're still going to fund this because everybody loved the musical episode number 1.
Right. So, which is why I'm advocating it needs to be like the mid-season finale. It can't be the season finale. It needs to be the mid-season finale because then everyone will be like, oh my God, this show is genius. We have to watch.
I have to tell a story. So we were looking up the Scrubs, and Liv goes, there's 26 episodes. I was like, yeah, that's how the shows used to be run.
Yeah.
It was nuts. I mean, generally they were like 22 minutes long each episode.
Yeah, it is pretty short.
They are generally, and they were 22 minutes long because the rest of the time was made for commercials. But like,
we had a fun conversation about how old I am.
Hey, you willingly come here and watch me.
It's true. I do this to myself.
You volunteer.
I volunteer to do this.
Well, you seem to like each other, so it works out.
Okay. It's okay.
Should we talk Strange New Worlds? Did you guys watch that?
Which one is that one?
Star Trek Strange New Worlds. It was fairly new. It was in like season 2.
It was the most recent season.
The most recent. So it's probably the most recent musical episode that has come out. But it was, I'll pull this up. It was suggested multiple times by our
Foley followers.
That they really, I mean, there's some Scrubs love in there, but like lots of people really liked that episode.
And honestly, this is what really I watched. I was because I miss Shelley and I miss her Star Trek conversations. I've been watching a lot of Star Trek. And when I saw the Star Trek, the Strange New Worlds musical episode, I a little bit lost my shit. And then immediately was like, of course we have to like talk about musicals and Wheel of Time and and like transitioned into so I thought it was for Star Trek really well done. The one thing that I do think was lacking, which Buffy had, was the choreography.
Yeah, for sure.
So the singing was phenomenal. The songs were really well done. The plot line was crafted really well. And the only down marks that I would give it would be, and it's not necessarily the choreography. I just don't think that the people who were, it was the choreography. It wasn't the dancers. It was the people who weren't really paying attention to the skill level of the actors and their dancing.
I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily think that a musical needs to be like, excuse me, all dance all the time. I thought that the in the show there's a scene in the bar in the 10 forward of whatever their ship.
Yeah, that one was good.
Like it was very evocative of like massive movie musical like dance numbers with lots of different like moments happening all over the scene, and like it was a big musical number with all of the dancing and that sort of stuff. But that wasn't the whole of the show for sure.
But the thing was, they tried to hit all of these wickets, and it came because it is especially when your backup actors aren't professional dancers, it came off as not quite as well executed. And maybe I'm being a little bit of a snob about this, but having these,
it's hard when you watch them all, like a whole bunch of musical episodes back to back.
This was what I watched several weeks ago, and my initial thoughts were like, oh no, like it's cute, I love it, but the like angry, mean, grumpy, judgmental part of my brain was just like, I keep trying to slap that part of my brain's hand because I want to really enjoy it, but it was like, it wasn't quite as well executed as it could have been. And then when I watched Buffy yesterday, one thing that in my head, I was like, I wish somebody in the Strange New World took the model of like, hire the professional dancer. So even if your main cast doesn't have the background, which Buffy did, you at least have the background dancers that can make up for and then do the choreography for the main cast that doesn't make them doesn't show off the fact that they can't dance. Again, not a problem. Like if your actors are not trained professionals, they are just not going to be able to do it. So work with the talent that you have and hire the people to make everything look better. And which I think would be the lesson learned again to the Wheel of Time, Rafe, when you do our musical episode, please. Yes.
Make Donald sing a lot.
Make Donald sing a lot. And I'm sure he can dance because he's in we'll see after, I think, isn't half the European contingent going to Hadestown this upcoming week or next week?
Yeah. It's like in a few days. Yeah, they're going to go see it. It's just
I showed Liv the Donald singing. And what did you keep saying?
Oh, I don't remember.
Good sir. Good sir. She kept.
Why were you not singing drinking songs with your jail buddy? Excuse me.
Right?
You dug your way out when you're not singing a little work song like the dwarves in the mines of Moria. Come on now.
Thank
you're
you.
bored all the time and you're not singing. Excuse me.
And he's singing all the time. Yes. See?
He did hum a little bit. He hummed a little bit.
A little bit.
I would like to segue briefly. I'm taking my segue advantage.
Do it.
I wanted to say that in the Buffy musical, sorry, Hillary, it's just it's the best.
I'm not
in the Buffy musical. You could see that Allison Hannigan was like felt so awkward about her dancing and her singing and all that stuff. Like she was, I feel like of everybody, like I mean, it fit with like the Willow character, but like you could tell she also as an actor felt very uncomfortable. But then if you want to see the most incredible transformation you've ever seen of a person who was like, I can't dance, I can't sing, I can't do anything like this, you need to watch the most recent season of Dancing with the Stars, where Allison Hannigan transforms from this like awkward, like really hesitant dancer to a dancer who doesn't have the skill level of like people who have dance training, but like puts in the work and transforms into this amazing butterfly. Like it was the most inspiring thing to watch. Like I don't know. I mean, there was just something about watching her progress on Dancing with the Stars, because she was kind of the epitome of like, anybody can learn to do this, even if you doubt yourself. Like it was just like a beautiful thing to behold, and she was so genuinely like vulnerable and open to learning new things, and like willing to like put herself in the hands of her teachers, and she like transformed. It was really cool. So anyway, so Allison, like I kind of wish I could give her a do-over so she could go back to the Buffy musical and like take the Allison Hannigan who like learned to believe in herself and put that into that.
They also did a musical number, not an episode, but a number in How I Met Your Mother that she was in. I don't think she sang in that one, but she did do a fair amount of dancing. Yeah. Which is also a fun little number.
Yeah. Anyway, it was fantastic. Yeah. Anyway, advocating. Okay, so any other episodes anybody feel? We kind of generally try to cut it off around this time, but
yeah.
Anybody feel like they have to like talk about something else?
The Flash pulled out some really big names. For theirs, they got Darren Criss.
I mean, for real.
I don't know who that is.
Have you never seen a Harry Potter musical?
No.
Or Glee.
Oh,
was on
Glee.
Or
He got on Glee because of a Harry Potter musical.
yeah.
So it's
What did
a
he play on Glee?
fan-made musical. It's on YouTube. That they wrote in college.
Apparently,
it's so good.
this is also part of my homework for this weekend.
Yeah,
there are
you
3
should
of them.
watch it.
No, you know.
There are 3 of them. So it's phenomenal. It's great. I like that they pulled out the big names. They got John Barrowman in there. I know Jeremy Jordan was in Supergirl, so he had some context to be there, but I think he might have left the show at that point as well. So it was surprising to see him again.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. The Daria episode really surprised me.
There was a Daria musical episode. Interesting.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
so good. It was really, really fun and good. I also really liked the Once Upon a Time
Ooh,
episode.
I didn't watch that. Yeah.
I watched that, but I felt like it was almost a little too on the nose. Like,
Yeah,
it felt
it
like
was.
I was like, because it's Once Upon a Time, I don't really feel like there's anything like.
I liked it. What I really liked was the quality of the music.
Yeah.
It felt very high end for their budget and what they had. It felt very wow.
And that was another one. And again, I think this, like trying to talk to Rafe, they had wanted to do that since season 3, and their musical episode was in season 6. So they had years to plan for it.
Yeah.
So I think if Wheel of Time really wants to do a musical episode, well, it's not the slapshod, especially coming from this is a serious show, and yes, it's a fantasy show, but a musical episode the components that we need are going to take time to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's give Sarah a little bit of leeway on this. Whoever is going to I don't know who they're if Lauren is going to have a lyricist that he likes to work with, because he doesn't seem to do.
That would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but maybe it's time to share this sneak peek
Yes.
of this Wheel of Time musical episode piece, which has a pretty fantastic lyricist on it. I don't know.
Maybe
do
somebody
you think-
could be hired for the show, possibly.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, do you think
May
that
or
we
may
should
not
share
already be
this
working
the
with them.
full- I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's too much. Maybe we shouldn't.
Liv, what do you think? Should we show this or?
You're doing this to me, my guy.
Don't
Don't make me do this.
Okay.
Asking teenagers to make decisions.
Mhm.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, I don't think we should stretch it out any longer. We'll discuss the genius that is this after we've seen it. But for all of you, please enjoy the world premiere of In the Threefold Land.
Wetlanders always think they know everything, but they really don't. Not the Isle Waste. It's the Threefold Land. The Aes Sedai, Panthers, and Gleemen. We share our water and shade with them in the Threefold Land. In the Threefold Land. And when you think that you're alone in the sure you're no threat. If you're a tree killer, best beware, 'cause we will stab you without a care. In the threefold land. In the threefold land. And the Trollocs that come around, they learn why it's called the dying ground. In the threefold land. In the threefold land. And our clan chiefs and wise ones have to go to Roydion. And in Roydion, they prove they're worthy. A Vendisora will give them peace and tranquility. And then they must go through the Terangrial. Oh, yeah. Our shaping stone, testing ground, and punishment for our sin. Oh, these are our gifts, the threefold land gives. And Wetlander, you will have to learn our philosophy. Oh, yes, Giotto, and how to take the fifth. So if you want to learn how to dance, for Dreas I will give you a chance. In the threefold land. In the threefold land. In the threefold land. Say it again. In the threefold land. In the threefold land. In the threefold land. In the threefold land. Oh, in the threefold land. Threefold land. Threefold land. Threefold land. Threefold land. Threefold land. Threefold land.
Wow.
That was a jam.
Right?
Thank you.
In case you didn't tell by that amazing voice, that was Hillary's own parody that she wrote just for our show today. Thank you
did.
so much. That's so fun. And I love the spirit that you put into that, because I feel like that really captures like the essence of that like musical genre. It's storytelling, it's giving you exposition, but it's also like carrying a plot forward. There's so many great things about what happened in that.
Yeah.
The
Like
show
threefold
could-
talk, threefold land. Figure it out.
Well, and the show could easily add that to the soundtrack. They don't necessarily need to use it in the show. But yeah,
They might
add
have
a
some
little-
copyright issues with it.
Yeah, well,
that's their problem.
Worth it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
They're the ones that can negotiate that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
And then
actually
you get a
used
nice meeting
to
and do more
negotiate.
costuming.
Sorry, say that again.
Oh, I was gonna say then Hillary gets a nice payday and can do more costuming.
Yeah. Right, Rafe, you have a lyricist right here.
Right. Exactly.
Right here. Enjoy. I liked that you kind of took that like boppy, jazzy vibe and like applied that to something that, I mean, some people, I don't know if you've ever heard like the Wetlander talk about the threefold landing because he thinks it's boring. He thinks the Aiel boring. Like you give it the energy and pep and verve that it deserves, I think, for sure. Because there's a lot of great stuff. And it would be an amazing piece to like choreograph a fight scene too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think about the Aiel dancing and
training montage song,
right?
Yeah, that could do it.
I just got really excited.
Right? It could be a definitely training montage or like a battle, like a skirmish or something with the Aiel skirmishing together at like Imra Stand or whatever it is. Like there's so many places that Rafe could use this song in the upcoming season 4 musical episode of Wheel of Time. So I'm really glad that you let us present it for everybody to see.
I'm glad that I found time to do all of that.
We really appreciate that. We understand.
Yeah, it was so fun. It's so fun. And we'll be sure to like share it out and share it with the rest of the foldies who weren't able to make it tonight so they could see it.
I'll publish it when we get off of here. So.
Great. Yes, please do. Please do. Okay. Any other major comments anybody else wants to share tonight?
Yes. So next week we've got 2 more weeks till the end of the month, and at the beginning of the month when we did our calendar flips, we had a challenge to get people to hug pillows and send us pictures. It's around the time where we're going to start reminding you, and I will be obnoxious. I will roof mistress. Sorry, I will not be obnoxious. I will roof mistress. I will roof mistress you into remembering to send huggy pictures that emulate the vibe of Mel in Real Light Math Coffin tackling each other trying to get that picture, which we will show at the end of the last day of February, and we will all flip our calendars to March.
Yay, love it. That's true. Yes, and if you is Kevin, other Kevin? Thank you, Kevin. Is Kevin here? I can't remember when their next episode for the deep dive is, but that's coming up sometime in February too. So that's something to look forward. And we'll figure out when that is and share that out as well. But until then, Hillary, thank you for joining us today and sharing all of your insights. Liv, thank you for being here. It's always good to see your face and see you grow and change with us. Yes, teenagerness. And give us your insights, because I love hearing your opinions about how Rand and Celine should not be doing that. That's very smart. But keep watching because I promise you'll be satisfied. But until next week, we hope you guys all go and bring the joy of music into your life and walk away singing a little song. And may you always find love, water, and I'm gonna have to find our song.
Oh shit, I didn't. I thought you had it.
I totally, definitely, absolutely have it. Okay, goodbye.
We know what we're doing.
We know what we're doing. Consummate professionals. See you. Bye.
Bye.